Salut, David Ronan here, today talking to you about modes again, but hopefully this video is going to clear the fog that might be in your brain. A lot of guitar players are struggling with modes, and it seems that a lot of them are struggling because a lot of teachers are explaining modes in a very confusing way that does not make any sense. And that plus the weird names of the modes tend to kind of clutter your brain, and it makes things a lot harder than it should be. So take a deep breath. I hope that this video is going to clear up some of the fog and really help you see the benefits of understanding what guitar modes are and finally approaching the modal subject in a healthy way and in a fun way. And if you're not good at math, that's fine. You don't need to. Modes don't need to be this brain activity that is overloading a lot of people. It really doesn't have to be. So forget anything that you have learned about modes. In this video, I'm going to tell you a little story. I have talked about this in some of my live chats and some of the master classes that I do sometimes. I don't know if I ever did a video about it. If I did, forgive me, but you know, I repeat myself. That's what happened when you do 3 videos a week for 3 years. But anyways, all right, here's the story. There's a world, a new world made of 7 different continents, 7 different countries. Each of these countries have their own language, their own custom, their own colors. So in other words, when you're visiting one of these countries, you know that you're in that country because of the smells, because of the looks, because of the colors, and because of what you're hearing in that country. Everybody in that country speaks the language of that country. And it's the same for all of these different lands, these different countries. We're going to consider 7 of these lands. So basically, just like in the real world, when you're visiting a new place, a new country, you've got to learn the language, right? In order to communicate with the people in that country. Well, this imaginary world is a little bit different. There's some parallels with the real life, but it's a little bit different. Learning one's language is much easier than it is in this world, because you don't need to learn all the different vocabulary, all the rules, all the grammatical rules and exceptions. You don't have to do that. You don't. All you need to do to speak one's language is to learn the alphabet of that language. So if I'm going to visit this country that's called the Ionian country, in order to understand and to speak the language of that Ionian country, all I need to do is to learn the Ionian alphabet. And the Ionian alphabet is made of only 7 letters. That's it. So that's easier. You just have to learn that 7-letter alphabet to speak the language. Well, what about the words? What about grammatical things? And that's the beauty of that magical imaginary world. You don't have to learn the words. As long as you're making up words using that 7-letter alphabet, people in the Ionian land are going to understand you. They're going to understand what you're wanting to say. Even if you're making a word that has never been said before, people in that country are going to understand you. They're going to relate to you. You're going to sound like a native. And it's the same for every one of these 7 different countries. The names of these countries: Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, Locrian, 7 different countries. So if you learn how to speak the Ionian language, which only means that you have to learn the Ionian alphabet and then you can speak fluently that language. If you're fluent in Ionian and you're visiting the Phrygian country and you speak Ionian over the Phrygian country, the people in the Phrygian world are not going to understand you. It's just not going to work. You've got to learn the Phrygian alphabet. So there's 7 different alphabets. 7 alphabets that are made of 7 letters. It's really easier than you think. It really is. All you have to do is to learn the alphabet of one's country and make up words. So, all right, enough of that story. How does that work in real life? Well, I'm not going to take a plane ticket to go to the Ionian land. I can't do that. But to visit the Ionian country, I need to jump in that country by visiting that musical land, which is the Ionian country. How do I do that? I'm just gonna pick an Ionian backing track, and there I am in that country. In order to speak the Ionian language, I just need to learn the 7 letters of that alphabet and then make up words. It's gonna be fine. You're gonna be okay. And then once you're tired of visiting that Ionian country, just visit another one. Doesn't matter. The Locrian country. Pick a Locrian backing track. Learn the Locrian alphabet. You have everything you need to speak Locrian, to improvise in Locrian. Just make up your own words. If you relate to musical improvisation as a language, things are going to be a lot easier for you. You're not going to have this mental brain blockage, and it's not going to be mathematical or anything like that. Just consider these countries as unique individual lands, and in order to be fluent in that country, just visit the country, visit the musical bed that is made of that, the characteristic things of that land, Ionian land, Ionian backing track, Phrygian land, Phrygian backing track. Learn the 7-letter alphabet, the 7-letter scale, the mode, and then make up words. If you're not the creative type, you can learn some words that have been already made. Licks. Some licks that are going to work in that particular country. But the fun part really comes when you're making your own word and you're starting to speak. It's really easier than you think. When you're thinking about improvisation as a language, you can add your own touch. You know, when I'm talking, people know that I'm talking. Even if I say the same exact words that someone else says. Why? Because I have my accent, I have my hesitations, I stutter sometimes. All that can be reproduced in music, and that adds to the character of your improvisation. You are unique. Don't try to sound like anyone else, because of course you might be able to sound like someone else, but what's the point? People want to hear what you have to say, not what Steve Vai has to say through you. It's good to learn some words that other players you admire and use them to start a conversation, but don't do it too much. Don't study one guitar player's licks too much, because you're not going to sound like you. Nobody sounds like you. What you have to say is beautiful and amazing. I really believe that. So pick up some backing tracks from guitarplayback.com. I really didn't want to make an ad out of this video. I really want to help you, and I hope this does help. But I happen to have a business and I sell backing tracks. I sell countries, 7 countries, even more than that. You can visit them for only $1.50. You don't even need a plane ticket to visit that country. I'm getting lost there. I hope you enjoyed this video. Seriously, if you simplify your thoughts, you're going to sound more complex. Think about that. Thanks for watching this. I'll see you next time. Until then, salut.